Hello guys, and welcome to a new Steel Division 2 video today by me, Vulcan. In this one I have for you a 10 versus 10 breakthrough game on Shchedrin, and I'm going to be playing with CIABG, or the Czechoslovakian Independent Armoured Brigade Group, with the balanced deployment type. Quite the mouthful, this division. But yeah, today, an epic breakthrough 10v10. I don't get to play these very often at all. And by some miracle, during my subathon, where I played through like 30 divisions back to back, in the early hours of the morning, the breakthrough servers were filling up. And I was like, this is amazing. So I jumped in with the division that I was playing at the time, which was CIABG, and we set up our attack. So let me show you what we got going down. So I have multiple Cromwells. Cromwells are really, really fast. So great for attacking. They can pin down the enemy on the move, and then you just want to try and surrender if you can. I've got a Cromwell 7 that's going to be providing the leadership, and we also have a recon squad, the Bojowa Helidka, which are going to be able to spot the enemy for us. In breakthrough, defenses are quite often placed like out in the open rather than in cover because they're quite resilient, but that does make them easy to spot and therefore pinned down by things like arty and fire from tanks and such. And then I've got the long toms here that are there to take advantage of any stationary targets, like those bunkers for example. These can do a serious amount of damage, they're very accurate, and at this range, particularly since the front line is here, as you can see by the trenches and barbed wire that the enemy team has placed, we will be able to engage those pretty well. So off we go, and you can see that the majority of the team has joined me on the left hand side. I did try and coordinate a push on the left hand side. The key to breakthrough is to have a really concentrated push, and then you go for the envelopment, because a lot of people are prone to putting defenses all the way like close to the front, and therefore you want to be able to get in behind them and then sweep round. So that's what we're going to be trying to do today as the Cromwells start pushing hard onto the enemy defences. Absolute chaos ensuing as the Solithern bunker gets pinned down. When it comes to bunkers, the best way to deal with them is to surrender them. So in this case you can see that one surrendered after it got pinned down, and now we're going to be trying to do the same for the next one. We're also, of course, trying to engage the Pak 43s at the same time, and you'll notice that my artillery was basically targeting any AT guns and also the defences that we saw pop up at the start of the game. And we're going to go and clean out these bunkers on the left-hand side to make sure that they don't continue to push the front line against us. So shifting over here, I'm going to try and get rid of all these MG bunkers, the Pak 50 bunker, and that way we get the flags that are on this left-hand side. Meanwhile, across the front, a few players did spread out, which is always a good thing to do because there are sometimes some easy flags to take. For example, this flag's relatively close to the front line, this one. There's also this one that we've already captured. So getting a few easy flags early on will slow down the tick that is against you. So I've managed to surrender those two bunkers, and now my Cromwells are trying to push through the barbed wire here and run down the Ersatztruppen that were left to defend, but they're not going to stick around for long as the Cromwells absolutely blast them to pieces. The poor Ersatztruppen not going to hold the line. Pak 50 bunker already under fire by my long toms, so I managed to pin that down before it was a problem. And now we're continuing up onto the hill here, where we can potentially flank any units that would be on the right side of this hill, but none there just yet. So Cromwell's moving over to just get rid of the rest of the Ersatztruppen. The bunker over here got flattened by the artillery, so we don't have to worry about that. That's the remainder of it. This bunker also going to get killed off by the gunfire from the Cromwell 5, and you can see just how fast and furious you have to be with the breakthrough game mode. So surrendering that bunker, now looking to pin down the other MG42 bunkers and carry on, but Tiger is a problem, so we've got to try and run that down as quickly as possible. If I just wait at range, the Tiger's going to end up getting kills onto all of my Cromwells. So I've got to try and run towards it and get shots into the side armor. So that's what I'm trying to do right now. We've managed to surrender both of those MG bunkers, so that worked out nicely. There is some Lorves though, and they have Panzerfaust, so they managed to take out one of my Churchills, and that forces me to back off. But I do have a Cromwell on the flank here, and we managed to get one shot into the side armor of the Tiger, and we're going to look for the second. And we do manage to find it. Tiger goes down. Triple pack 40 is not something I want to run into with the remainder of my Cromwell 5s, so we're going to be backing off. And you can see that I've immediately set my long toms to engage those pack 40s. So the left side and the hill here completely secure. And from this hill we can certainly start putting pressure on this flag on the left hand side and the flag that's further down the hill. But I don't want to continue pushing over here because of the amount of AT guns that are set up at a distance, and also the team at this point, the enemy team, is going to be scrambling to try and defend this side now that we've broken through these defences. So the best and most logical thing to do is actually just go behind the other defences further to the right, and in doing so we can compound on our breakthrough that we've already made. So Suta going to be coming up with the big old off map, was using the first SSB, so that's going to be pretty nasty. The Morris LRC, they're going to be preventing reinforcements from coming up on this hill for a very long time. Unfortunately for me, one of my Cromwells getting taken out near the barbed wire here. These Cromwells looking absolutely awesome. In CIABG, the Cromwell 5s have such cool models, and we're able to push through that barbed wire and continue over to this right hand side. So you can see I'm moving them to this light cover. I'm also bringing up some reinforcements. The Churchill 7s are on their way. The Churchills, very, very slow, so I decided to bring them in relatively early on in this fight to make sure they did actually get to the front line and help engage as soon as possible. So I've got 4 Churchill 4s, which only have that 90mm of frontal armour, and then we have the 2 Churchill 7s, which have the 150mm of frontal armour. For the long toms, again, targeting stationary units. So we're going for the back 40, we're going for the MG42 bunker. The bunker won't be able to avoid my artillery fire, so it's a great target. Cromwells are going to be coming across to help clean out the right side of this hill, whilst Barry continues to put the pressure over the hill with Suta. And with that off map coming into play, it should make life a lot easier. The enemies did actually do a pretty good job of placing their bunkers like with depth in their defense, which was quite nice to see. Quite often, as I mentioned, people will place all their bunkers right on the front, and so when a breakthrough like this happens, you don't really have any defenses behind, but having the extra bunkers behind there is nice. I would just recommend to keep them in light cover so they don't get spotted at a distance and hit by artillery along the way. So this Cromwell pushing hard here to get the surrender onto the flak and the infantry. Now we're going to be trying to pin down the MG42 bunker as quickly as possible, while this Cromwell continues across to kill off any AA and such that we find on the backside. The rockets took out the Pack 40, so that's no longer a threat, allowing these Cromwells to continue their fast push to the right hand side. And I'm also now bringing up some Cromwell 6s, which are going to be providing that long range 95mm cannon, which is really good for pinning down bunkers and taking out AT guns at a distance. So originally I thought I would bring these up onto the hill in order to help with the Pack 40, but instead now they're coming over to the right to continue to support my Cromwell 5 push, and the Churchills have also been redesignated over to the right hand side here so that we can try and push through towards this town. So you can start to see that our concentrated push has now started to become a bit of an envelopment as we come round behind these forces that are trying to defend against like Taki pushing up here and also Eugen. So Pack 40 now going to be the main thing that I need to pin down quickly. So just making sure to stop and fire at that so that my shots get on target. Nice thing about the Cromwell 5 in this case is I have them all in at 2 veterancy, so their 6 round per minute rate of fire is like more like 8, and therefore helps me pin down things like this Pack 40 pretty quickly, stopping my Cromwells from getting killed off in the process. Like individually, AT guns will lose the tank, so that's always something you got to bear in mind. I also had artillery coming in there, as you saw. That is hitting that as well. So now the Cromwell 5s are going to be advancing to try and take out the Panzer III. That's also being engaged by the T-34s here. And I've got more of my infantry on the way. So we've got some FFO Fusiliers coming up. The FFO Fusiliers are more there to kind of hold the line after my tanks have made the breakthrough. And it stops the enemy from just kind of like running back through our front line and taking back all of the ground that we just made. Nice strafing run by the Hellcat there, pins down the Pack 43, allows the Bowfighter to come through and take out the Boy de Stalin. Absolutely huge. Panzer III gets taken out by those T-34s. So this front completely falling apart as the team continues to cooperate on this push on the left-hand side. And this was one of the most exciting breakthrough games that I've had in a very, very long time. So beautiful airstrikes coming in there from Spicy, the Spitfires, getting the bombs off onto very crucial targets to allow us to continue the push. Panzer IV is going to get taken out by a T-34-85, leaving just an artillery piece on the crossroad. Those Cromwells going to be continuing that push. My Churchills catching up. The FFO's Fusiliers spreading out. You can see that I'm going to be putting one in this heavy cover. Again, just to hold the front line, force them to put something in there to clean them out. We're going to be doing the same here, hoping to get FFO Fusiliers into these trees on the other side of the lake. Whilst the remainder of my tanks just continue their breakthrough to the right-hand side. You can see on the very right side, things have been a bit of a problem for our team. We haven't really managed to take any ground there. I've kind of been pushed back to the spawn. But Flying Route doing a good job here holding this flag. And of course now pushing through on the bottom side of this town where we're going to gain 2 more flags, bringing it to 13 to 19. Now you can see that 13 to 19 is still not enough. Whilst we have made a lot of ground on this left-hand side, 13 to 19 is not enough for us to be getting anywhere near a victory. It's still a minor defeat in 22 minutes. So we've got to keep on the pressure. Cromwell's being hit by the Pack 43 here is going to force me to stop those and try and get the engagement on target. I want to try and pin that down as quickly as I can. With one of my Cromwells dying, I decide to kind of bail on that. And these FFO Fusiliers can just continue the push on their own. Cromwell 5 trying to engage the Panzer III here. Unfortunately, going to be losing one. One problem that you do have with the Cromwells is they do have like low armor, like relative to say like a Sherman. Shermans have like 90 armor. Cromwell 5s only have 70 armor, but they do benefit from the speed, which has allowed me to overrun a lot of the defenses that we've come up against so far. So Churchill's now finally getting across the bridge and joining the attack, taking them quite a while to get there. But they're going to be continuing all the way over here. You can see that fast move order I've given them, heading all the way behind these defences. Cromwell, meanwhile, taking out the Pack 40 here. Did manage to pin it down. And is going to be trying to kill it off with the base of machine guns. FFO Fusiliers currently just getting chopped up on the road, but I'm not too concerned about those. Just got one Cromwell 5 here, somehow managed to get left behind, but is very damaged. And I've got a supply that probably didn't mean to come with me and was meant to go to the long doms. The remainder of my troops still going to be just pushing through. Cromwell going to take the opportunity to take out the Schwaloser. Spicy's going to get the bombing strike onto the Pack 43, so that works out really nicely. Gets a bombing strike onto the Tiger as well as that retreats into the rockets. So, just really, really nice play by the team to continue the pressure whilst I just charge my tanks at the enemy and take a lot of the flak from the enemy, allowing the rest of my team to kind of clean things up quite nicely. So the push continues. T-34 is now going to be trying to deal with the Tiger. Sherman's trying to push up that hill, but the key really is to just keep heading to the side, keep pushing through the flank of our enemy and cleaning out the rest of the defenses that are in our way. Nice Andrusha here, going to be targeting both of those Panthers. Got to make sure that you keep these either in cover so they aren't spotted, or on the move because out in the open like this, it leaves you very exposed to these sorts of rocket strikes. I do like the way that our enemy set up the defense here. Look at that. Really nice trench network with the bunker, with all the barbed wire. Very, very nice indeed. But again, I have issue with these Pack 50s, for example, being right at the edge, out in the open, because it's so easy to spot with all of this recon. Anyway, Churchill's coming into position. Unfortunately, T-34's gone down. 2 of my Churchills now dead. Big problem we're having is the Pack 40 is shooting us and we have nothing to shoot at back with because we don't have HE on these. The Churchill 4s are great for dealing with enemy tanks at close range because they have the APCR round, but they're not very good at dealing with AT guns because they have no HE that they can fire at a distance. But at least both Armada 3s get taken out, and now the Churchill 7s can hopefully tank the Pack 40 at range and engage that. Alright, so just waiting for the next build-up of tanks. I have brought in myself a Recon Cromwell that's going to be joining these other Cromwell 7s, and then I've got the 2 Fireflies here. Now the Fireflies have arrived, we can start to make a more concerted effort to push down this road. Unfortunately for me, the Tiger was getting side shots into the Churchill 7, so that was a little bit of a problem, but the artillery saves us from the Pack 40 and allows us to continue the fast move down the road there. F4 Fusiliers are getting close to the Lovis in cover here, and that will allow us to put some pressure towards this flag. If we can pin down this Lovis in the process as well, that would be great. We've just got to kill off these ones and then hold that flag. That's going to push us 15 to 17, and we're getting closer and closer to victory. The more shots coming in to the side armour of my poor Churchill 7s. But my Fireflies are going to stop here for a second and try and engage the units on the hill there. So we're looking for the kill onto the Tiger, and we do manage to find it. Artillery is going to land and kill the Panzer IV, so that was lovely. The Cromwell Recon leading the way. Just seeing if there's actually anything left behind here. Going to make sure to stop and engage the Mobilwagen. That's always going to be a good kill. That's 100 points worth of AA taken out. And then that will open up the way for the Typhoons that I've just purchased to engage the Tiger and the Panther. Now, unfortunately, there is a bunch of 20 mils on the right here that managed to prevent one of my Typhoons. But the second one going to get the rockets off, and this Panther's already been damaged by the rocket strike earlier, so we clean that out and allow Flying Roo to continue the push with his tanks. So Fireflies on the backside here taking out the Stugs that have come in to flank me, whilst the Cromwell 7s are caught in a bit of a predicament here. There's two Star Tigers heading towards us and the Stug there. The Fireflies need to take out these Stugs for me ASAP, so that's what I'm trying to do right now. And then I can focus on the Tigers afterwards. But yeah, the Cromwell 7's getting a little bit overextended away from the Fireflies, and that does cause me some problems. Nice shot on the move there by the Firefly, actually takes out the Stug. Cromwell 7 gets killed off, but now the AA is dealt with. Typhoon's coming in for another rocket strike. Unfortunately going to lose sight on that at the last second, but managed to turn it in time to engage the other one. And that's going to be a nice kill onto one of the Tigers. Now these Fireflies can engage the Tiger coming down the road, and it hasn't stopped moving, so we're able to get cheeky first shots off, but no penetrations. Now looking for the second shot on target, managed to miss that as well. Fireflies need to do better than that. Trying to get the Cromwell 7 leader close enough to provide the veterancy. In the end, trade a Firefly for the Tiger, which is not too bad overall, but I don't think needed to be the case. Like missing like 4 out of 4 on the first 2 shots from both of those is pretty rough. Regardless, we've opened up the ground once again. Both of the big threats, the 2 Tigers are dead. The Stugs are all dead up on the hill here. So the flanking attack is taken care of. The defense in front of us is gone, which is now going to open up the huge flank onto the back of all of these bunkers. Now you might notice that I have started to bring in some units to help attack from the front as well. As we're able to squeeze them from both sides, it will allow us to do a lot of damage. My Cromwell still hanging over on the left hand side here is able to get some nice kills onto the AA here, and the FO Fusiliers did survive in this position, able to hold on to that flag for the time being. But now we have 3 Cromwells continuing the push straight into these bunkers. I'm going to be bringing in my artillery support as well to make sure that the MG42 bunkers get pinned down. Unfortunately, J88 does kill off my Cromwell 7, so I'm going to throw my Firefly into cover here and use it to try and cover the reinforcing road whilst our team pushes in from this direction. Spicy doing a great job getting the M3 half tracks to push through, getting nice and close to these defences. The half track has a good chance of surrendering a lot of these defences if they get pinned down. So in this case, with all of this rocket artillery coming in, it's going to kill the MG42, it's going to kill or pin down all of these Panzergrens. Really, really good use of the Andrusha by flying through this game. Has completely crushed those defences. Now the Cromwell 7s are able to drive through alongside the rest of the team. And my Cromwell 7 over here going to be joining Disaster as he pushes up onto this hill as well. And this is where we're going to start to take the lead. You can see it's currently going to be a draw, 16-16. But we want to push +1, and now it's going to be a minor defeat for the enemy in 3 minutes and 26 seconds. I never quite understood how the scoring in Breakthrough works, but it seems like as soon as you do go positive on flags, the game ticks down so much faster all of a sudden. But either way, this flag should be ours shortly. Those Panzergrens didn't have any AT, so I'm quite happy to just like push on through here with the Cromwell 7s. The Firefly is still holding that road. So this Cromwell 7 is going to head to the right. I've got my other Cromwell 7 that's continuing to push ahead of everyone else on the right hand side, and that was basically it throughout this game. I was charging ahead with the Cromwells, well ahead of everyone else, and only in this case did it really catch me out. But everywhere else, the team kind of following up behind my initial push worked out fantastically. So it's really, really cool. Typhoon's heading over to the left here, looking for the King Tiger. Hoping that there wasn't much AA there, so we could get a free kill onto that. We don't want that like harassing our teammates and pushing us back onto the hill. Unfortunately, it was defended properly by AA, so not able to get the kill there. Now, since the Firefly didn't have recon, we didn't manage to get to see a lot of this infantry coming in. I wasn't really able to cover that road as much as I wanted to, and as the Cromwell 7 went over the ridge there, discovered the hard way that there was a lack of recon, and the AT coming in from the left really kind of cleaned that up. But Cromwell's still driving around, making sure to surrender bunkers so it doesn't hold up these troops, because you can see, like Disaster in this case, he's using an attack move order. And on an attack move order against bunkers, you're just going to sit there and fire at it for like 2 to 3 minutes before it actually dies, because they have a lot of health. Whereas if you just drive at it, then if it's not dead by the time you get there, you surrender it anyway, so it's not too bad. And Firefly is managing to get a nice shot into the Stug there. More of my Cromwells are arriving. I'm trying to get a recon Cromwell to join my Cromwell 7 up here, but this Cromwell 7's just ran through with no resistance on the backside to capture that flag. These Typhoons were struggling to get shots on target, but at least this Typhoon managed to get through and hit the Stug there, so that was a good kill. This Firefly, however, is being forced to run away from all of this infantry, which is charging towards it. Elephant, unfortunate for my Firefly. Really nice bombing strike though. Beautiful P-51 by Taki. Absolutely nukes that infantry. The Elephant finishes off the Firefly. Huge force, however, coming through from Spicy and Barry and Taki. Those Stugs stand no chance against that force. But now only 10 seconds left on the clock. My Typhoon coming to the right-hand side here, going to get hit a lot by AA. But there you have it. The breakthrough. Push through on the left, all the way to the right-hand side. 23 minutes, 37 seconds. Absolutely awesome stuff. And in terms of kills and losses, I came second on the kills. Suta did really well on the left with the first SSB, managed to hold that for us, whilst the rest of the team continued to push through. Flying Roo doing a great job with the Andrushas throughout that game. And you can see that I did take a lot of losses as well. In terms of kills, you can see that I'm surrendering so many bunkers throughout this game, and we're actually managing to get some pretty nice kills onto Tigers with the Fireflies, and I also got that really nice kill with the Cromwell onto a Tiger early on. So even with the Axis armor being superior, our numbers managing to push us through just like a true allied breakthrough. Really fun game. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.